3.
Hi, John and Kala. My name's Elizabeth, and I've had the privilege of putting together the labels for your Jones bottles. And I just want to say congratulations to you both for your upcoming wedding. I feel so lucky that I was able to play a small part in your celebration. And so I want to go through the techniques that I have actually used to adhere labels onto Jones bottles. And it's can be a bit tricky if you're not using the right things. And let me tell you, I have tried everything, and it's important that they adhere properly because you don't want people touching the bottle and finding something sticky on the edge or glue oozing out of the edges. And the worst thing that can happen is that the labels start popping off and you have your wedding and the labels aren't adhering, and that's problematic too. So let's start. I want to go over how to do this, and the first thing that you'll want to do is to make sure everybody who's working on the project has got really clean hands. Okay, to start, you'll need your labels and your bottles should be the label should be removed. It'll make it a little easier. You might want to have marks in terms of where the labels go though. Sometimes I just leave a little bit of residue, and that just allows me to know exactly where the label will go, because when you've got all the bottles lined up, you want the labels to kind of, be equal distance from the edge. Okay, so I would also do one flavor at a time, or else it could get confusing when you're doing the clear liquid ones or the root beer cane sugar ones. So I would keep them separate and do them as groups. All right, so you need a good pair of scissors. You may need a paintbrush. Don't worry about it if you don't have one, but a paintbrush could be handy, just one that you can throw out. The glue that I have found works best, or the adhesive, is this one. It's by Recollections, and it's adhesive tape, permanent, strong, and clear, and it's got this orange film on it so you know exactly where you've put it. And I find this one is awesome. It works really, really well. And the glue that you need to get is the Clear Gel Tacky Glue by Aleene's. And you can purchase both of these at Michael's. And so, as you know, they have 40% coupons constantly, so you could pick up a 40% coupon and a couple people could go in and pick those items up for you to save a few dollars. I know how expensive weddings can be. And yeah, so that's all the supplies that you need. I often use a paper cutter, but I wasn't sure if you had a paper cutter, but that also can be handy. All right, what I mentioned earlier is that sometimes I need a little bit of residue on the label just so that I know where to position it so that they're all equal. And when I do that, I make sure the upper edge and the bottom edge is really, really clean to make sure nothing's going to be left on the outside of where the photo label will go. All right, so when I'm going to adhere my tape onto my label, I want to make sure I label it on the non-photo side. This is really, really important because this side overlaps that side. So make sure you're conscientious. I've made lots of mistakes and adhered it here and then put the glue on, and it can be problematic. So I just want you to be aware of that. Just make sure that you're adhering it on this side, the tape, okay? Now, a roll of tape like this should last you for about 50 bottles, so you probably need about 3 rolls. And the glue, I think one bottle probably would be good, but I am guessing. All right, so you cut off a segment of the tape. You confirm you're on the right side, and then you're going to lie it down. Now, when you're lying it down, you have to make sure you're as close to the edge as feasibly possible without going over the edge. That is like so important, because if you don't get it really, really close to the edge, there'll be a little flap there that people will play with, and eventually the label will come off. If you go over there at the edge, there is something you can do. So I'm cutting off this one edge with your scissors, and I'm going to cut this one. You'll have to clean your scissors in between because they get kind of gummed up. Now I'm going to cut this one a little bit off the edge just to show you what to do if by accident the adhesive goes over the edge. So what I'm going to do is pull this off, and then I take my hand and just roll it over the edge so that nothing is on this side. I can see it's all clean. It's not right to the edge, so we're good. All right, so you want to make sure you check that. Now I'm going to use my glue, and when I use my glue, I'm just going to wait for it to come down so I don't have any blobs of glue. And then I'm just going to go back and forth a couple times like this. You don't want to have too much glue on the edges because then it'll ooze out. And if I tend to have a little clump of glue, I can use my paintbrush just to smooth that out, to give it, to ensure that I don't have any bumps when I'm going through that. Now when you adhere it onto the bottle, you always start with the photo side, okay? So I'm going to line that up, approximately where the old label was. I'm going to lie it down and just roll it along. Now when I'm about here, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to play with it. You can move it, right? It's just the clear glue right now, so I can move it. So I've got it lined up directly where I want it. All right, so you make sure it's all down, and then you just press down firmly so that the label's nice and close to the bottle. All right, and so you press that down, and voila, you've got a bottle ready for your wedding to celebrate. And I think it'll be a really fun addition to your wedding. And I hear that your last name is Jones. How handy is that? All right, so for this edge here, you just want to press it down again and check it in 5 minutes and make sure it's nice and firmly down. It's so important so that it's not lifting off or creating problems closer to the wedding date. All right, so I just want to say congratulations. Thank you again for letting me play a small role in the wedding, and call me if you have any questions. I'm here to help, and I'm happy if you call me. So take care and enjoy your day.